Hey guys, it's Jeremy. I'm starting my YouTube channel again. Hopefully, it'll stick this time. Wearing my Camp Crystal Lake shirt. I don't know if you guys can really see that. This is Crystal Lake Camp Counselor. I'm too close to the screen for you to see it, really. Um, yeah, so what I'm going to do shelf one of my DVD collection, and be talking a little bit about each movie, but not too long. I'm going to try to keep this short. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. Um, First one is going to be Nine, which is well, a lot of you guys have probably seen this. It's pretty cool. It's a animated movie um, produced by Tim Burton, obviously, based on a short film. Short film is actually featured on the Blu Ray. I would recommend watching uh, the short film after the movie. Kind of gives a little bit of insight about the movie. It's pretty good. It's shockingly, it's pretty dark for a kids movie, which is incidentally why I liked it. All right. Next one is going to be Stanley Kubrick Collection 2001, Clockwork Orange, and The Shining. I love all three of these movies. I actually already had all three of them, but I went ahead and rebought it on Blu-ray, or rebought them, I should say. Yeah, 2001, Clockwork Orange, The Shining, they're all fucking great. I can't even lie. I could talk for hours probably about all three of these movies. I will save you from that. I'm not going to do that. So we'll just keep moving right on. Next movie is going to be 12 Years a Slave. This is pretty good, I thought. Really well made movie. It's extremely depressing. Save for, I guess, the end. Becomes a little more depressing if you know a little bit more about what happened to this guy after the period that the movie shows you. But it's good. I will say it's really long, but it's good. Good acting, good direction. Yeah. Next movie is going to be 12 Monkeys, of course, with Bruce Willis, what's her name? Madeline Stowe and Brad Pitt. This movie's pretty great. Brad Pitt is amazing. Bruce Willis is Bruce Willis, I guess. I don't know. He's pretty awesome. But this movie's good. I'm assuming most people watching this have probably seen it. So, just moving right along here. 1408. I absolutely love this movie. I know a lot of people didn't like it for whatever reason. I like Stephen King as a writer. I'm not really sure a lot of his movies work, but this one I really thought did. I had never really heard of the guy who directed this movie, but yeah, obviously it's an old Blockbuster case, which I thought was hilarious. So I never. I don't even think you can remove the Blockbuster stuff from the. I think I got this from an actual Blockbuster that was closing down. But anyway, it's awesome. Samuel L. Jackson. Oh, sorry, and John Cusack. Haunted hotel movie. I thought it was really good. 51st Dates. This is really my wife's movie. I like Adam Sandler. This movie's a little saccharine for me. Um, it's pretty funny, I guess. It has Sean Astin in it, playing a questionably annoying character. I'm not even really sure what that means, what I just said, but it's pretty good. Supposedly based on a true story. I would question how true anything is in an Adam Sandler movie, but it's pretty good. That's going to be my pretty good for all the movies. 2010, the year we make contact. Um, this is a less great movie. It's it's interesting. It's interesting to me that they even tried to make this movie. Or well, they didn't try to make it; they did make it. But it has Roy Scheider in it, John Lithgow, and Helen Mirren. This, of course, came out, I think, a good 20 years or something after the original. Um, I like it, but not because it has anything to do with 2001. I kind of thought if they had made this movie, if they had done the script and just called it something else, it kind of would have been more interesting. I don't know. I haven't seen this movie in a very long time, but I thought it was pretty. It was okay. I was gonna say pretty good again. Watch out for that. Okay, so this is man, these are dusty. 40-year-old virgin. Everybody's seen 40-year-old virgin. I'm pretty sure. This movie is ridiculous. It's really stupid. It is the movie that, of course, kickstarted the comedy juggernaut that is Steve Carell. Um, it's really ridiculously dumb. It's really funny. It's just like most Apatow movies. It's just entirely too long. Um, but yeah, that's 40-year-old virgin. Okay, so this next movie is the 50 worst movies ever made. This is a movie that I picked up. I think it was like $1 at a place that we have here called Movie Trading Company. This is like a sick day movie for me. I put it in. The whole thing's only like an hour long. But it's 50 of the worst movies ever made. I'm sorry, my dog is doing something stupid. Stop it, Edmund. And I don't know. This is a real like movie lover thing. Anyhow, 50 worst movies ever made. Okay, next movie is 8mm with Nicolas Cage. I'm a Nicolas Cage fan. He's gotten, it seems like he's just become more and more like a, I don't know, a weird, what am I trying to say? Like, version of himself over the years. A parody, that's what I'm thinking of. A parody of himself. 8mm was like made from like the late 90s, so it was made right on the edge of the period of time where he was, people were starting to stop taking him seriously as a serious actor. This is a really weird movie. It's about snuff film. I thought it was awesome. It's not for everybody. I'll say that. Okay. Okay, so this is a real fan nerd collection here. The films of Alejandro Jodorowsky. Has Fando and Elise, El Topo, and The Holy Mountain. And then it has an extra disc of soundtracks to El Topo and The Holy Mountain. I love these movies. These are very strange. So Alejandro Jodorowsky, if you don't know, is like a surrealistic filmmaker. He was supposed to direct Dune like back in the 70s, I think, and the film got scrapped because they just couldn't afford him. He was demanding way too much money to do the movie. And you should definitely check these out. Holy Mountain and El Topo are probably my favorites, although Fando and Elise is, excuse me, is nothing to snub your nose out. Yeah, so definitely check those out. Those are very strange. He's kind of the guy who sort of like created the midnight movie, I guess. I know the Beatles were really into him, or I guess John Lennon in particular. Okay, next is About Schmidt with Jack Nicholson. There we go. About Schmidt, this is pretty great. It's funny. I had this movie for like years before I actually watched it. I did finally watch it, ironically, with my father, who is retired. So it was like, it really hit home for him, I think. Jack Nicholson was great. Kathy Bates is great. It's pretty good. Once again, pretty good. I don't know. It's not terrific, but I think I may be a little too young to appreciate everything in that movie. Next movie, After Hours, with Martin Scorsese film with Griffin Dunn. I love this movie. This is probably one of my favorite movies. I probably watch this movie at least once a year. So this is like a really strange movie about a bunch of weird stuff that happens in one night. Has Griffin Dunn, as I stated before. It also has Cheech and Chong in it, which is really odd. And a bunch of other people. Has Linda Florentino, Terry Garr, has John Hurd in it. John Hurd, if you're not familiar, is you would probably know him best as the dad from Home Alone. He was also in The Sopranos for a short time. Uh, all right, next movie is going to be About Last Night. This is an interesting. So About Last Night is a film. It's based on a stage play by a guy named David Mamet, who is actually a Pulitzer Prize winner for a play called Glengarry Glen Ross, which I love. Probably my favorite movie of all time, actually, is Glengarry Glen Ross. We're going to get to that eventually, not in this shelf. But About Last Night, so it's based on a stage play called Sexual Perversity in Chicago. It's an oddly themed movie because they have bits that are directly from the play, which are so much more different. They try to make it like a romantic comedy, I guess, but it's like so depressing and dark that it's difficult. You should know David Mamet doesn't really do comedy. He kind of does, but it's a very special brand of comedy, I guess. It's funny, but it's very weird. About Last Night, Rob Lowe, Jim Belushi, obviously. Um, Next movie is Agent Cody Banks. This is my wife's movie. I'm going to be perfectly honest here and say I've actually never seen this movie. I do know that it's a. Oh, no, it isn't either. I guess I'm thinking of Spy Kids. I thought it was a Robert Rodriguez movie. No, but it's a Harold Zwart, whoever the hell that is. Agent Cody Banks. I don't really know anything about this movie. Yeah, I don't know. We'll just go on. Next is The Accused. This movie is really intense. Has Kelly McGillis and Jodie Foster, based on a true story about a rape case in a bar that happened somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where. This is really awesome. The performances are great. Yeah. Next is The Abyss. I love this movie, James Cameron. A little too long for its own good, but pretty great. Ed Harris, Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio. Underwater movie, Aliens. It's basically E.T., I guess, underwater, kind of, with like a lot more cursing. But yeah, pretty great. Next is Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. This movie is awesome. I'm not even gonna lie. This is a very bizarre movie. It's produced by Tim Burton, I think. Yeah. Oh, same group who did Nine. It's based on a comic book or a graphic novel, I should say. Yeah, you should check it out if you don't take things too seriously. Don't get too bogged down in the actual history of it. Have a little fun. It's a time waster. Next movie is Akira. This movie is awesome. Not a big anime guy. I can't really get into anime, but I love Akira. Akira is a great movie. I know it's from like 85, it may be even older than that. And I know that at the time it was made, they had like every animation studio in Japan working on it at one time or another. Even if you're not into anime, it's probably a good watch once. Yeah. So Akira. Next movie is The American President and Dave. Double feature here. like both of these movies. I like Dave a little bit more. Um, the American President is just so, I don't know. It's it's a romantic comedy and political, which is that stuff puts me to sleep. Dave is also a romantic comedy, but has Kevin Kline in it, who is awesome, and Sigourney Weaver. I think Dave has a little bit more cynical bite to it. Um, anyway, that's those movies. Next movie is Alice by Woody Allen, of course. This is awesome '80s Woody Allen's. This is like a it's like a New York yuppie version of Alice in Wonderland, basically. It kind of helps to know that before going into this movie, because if you don't, it just seems like a bunch of random crap happening to like absurdly rich people. So, um, I don't know. Maybe I just described like every Woody Allen movie ever made. But anyway, Alice is it's pretty good, pretty good. You should check it out. Alien Apocalypse. This movie is trash for the most part, but it has Bruce Campbell in it. Alien movie. He has a lot of good one-liners. I don't know. It's like a third-rate Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, basically, with Bruce Campbell in it. Okay, so this is. I collect. All right. So I have many copies of different versions of Alice in Wonderland. This is Alice Adventures in Wonderland. I think I found this at Half Price Books for like 50 cents or something. This is a British production that was on TV. It comes in this really weird thin case. Yeah, I don't even know who most of these. I think the only reason that I even bought this was because it has Peter Sellers in it as the hare. There he is, whoop, right there. But he has some bizarre makeup on. It has Dudley Moore in it also as the Dormouse. I don't know. It's pretty bizarre. Oh, this is another Alice in Wonderland. This is put on. This is a TV production that was actually put on by the BBC. Here's what's interesting. This also has Peter Sellers in it, but as a different character. If I remember correctly, I think he plays the Mad Hatter. There's Peter Cook in it too. I don't remember. I actually watched this relatively recently, and now I can't remember all that about it. Um, Arachnophobia. Arachnophobia is awesome. What can you say? Um, Jeff Daniels, Spider movie. John Goodman. This is amazing that Jeff Daniels is in this, just because he's. I don't know. It's such a throwback to like 50s B movie fun, and you got an Oscar-winning actor in there. Um, I don't know. That's. I feel like that kind of thing really wouldn't happen today. I think what's great about this movie is that it is a comedy and a horror, but they are separated. Like the comedy part of it is not that it's a silly movie. Like um, they're not making fun of the fact that it's a horror movie, which it seems like after Scream came out, that's like what everybody wants to do now. Is like the wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Isn't this funny that it's supposed to be scary? No, the scary parts are scary, and then the funny parts are legitimately funny, separate from that. Arachnophobia, 1990. It's great. Airplane. Airplane's great. Don't Call Me Shirley edition. Airplane's awesome. Everybody loves. I'm not even gonna. We're just gonna go on because that movie is great. Army of Darkness. Once again, we're gonna go on. Army of Darkness is awesome. It helps a little bit if you've seen the other two. I guess this is, of course, the movie that really got Bruce Campbell kind of noticed. There's like a bazillion different uh, versions or releases of this movie. This is the Anchor Bay release. Probably not the best transfer, but whatever. Um, Next is going to be Adventures in Babysitting. I love this movie despite its completely racist undertones, I guess. I mean, it's an 80s comedy, so they had those. I don't know. Um, Adventures in Babysitting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even. Oh, Chris Columbus directed this. Yeah. Elizabeth Shue. Um, oh, it's produced by Deborah Hill. That's crazy. Um, Anthony Rapp and Keith Coogan. It's good 80s comedy for someone my age. I like it. Um, Altered States. I definitely uh, would suggest this movie. This movie is awesome. It's it's really weird, but it's just it's so adamant about its idealism. It kind of goes completely off the rails about halfway through, um, and they never really rein it back in, which is it's either completely idiotic or awesome. You decide on that. Excuse me. Next movie is All the President's Men. I'm realizing that I'm smirking like right before I pick all of these up. Um, anyway, All the President's Men. Yeah, this is good for some history, I suppose. This movie, you should not confuse this movie with actual history. I will say that. Um, it, it, I would urge you to be an inspiration for a jump off to actually read about the Nixon uh, thing. That whole debacle is actually very interesting. Um, but don't take this movie as the gospel for it. Although a lot of people, I think, for a long time did. It's about, of course, we got Hoffman and Redford playing respectfully Woodward and Bernstein. They broke the story about Richard Nixon, uh, the Watergate thing, all of that. I'm not going to speak too much more about that right now. I think this movie, I think it won an Academy Award, although for some reason it doesn't seem to say that anywhere, and I could be wrong about that. But it's good. It's really long, and if you're not into history, it may be kind of boring to you. But if you're into this specific story, you should check it out. Amazon Women on the Moon. So this is a sketch comedy movie that was made in like 1986. Um, it's directed by John Landis, the Animal House folk. Of course, it has all of these people in it. It's sort of like a precursor to like um, Saturday Night Live, I guess. Even though Saturday Night Live was already on when this movie was made, um, it's more cringeworthy than Saturday Night Live, if you can believe that. I don't mean in the sense that like it's live and it's not funny, but it's like I don't know. It was 1986, so there's a lot of what we consider troubling humor in it, I suppose. So you can either cringe at it or laugh at it. But there's some legitimately funny shit in this, and oh god, Arsenio Hall is in it. Steve Guttenberg, Ed Begley Jr. It's pretty awesome. Um, okay, so this is a 3 movie. Along Came Polly, Reality Bites, and Mystery Men. I don't judge me, please. I actually bought this for Reality Bites, and then I watched it. I had not seen it in probably 10 or 11 years. Such a terrible movie. Mystery Men is pretty interesting. So it's like a superhero movie with um, Ben Stiller, Janine Garofalo, uh, William H. Macy, and Paul Rubens, of all people. It's a really weird movie, but I guess now I'd kind of favor that movie over these other two. Along Came Polly is a romantic comedy. I'm assuming you probably know what that is. I'm not a huge Ben Stiller fan. It's pretty hit and miss for me. Um, Amadeus. I feel like everyone probably knows this movie, but I don't. These days, I'm not even really sure that's true anymore. So this is a movie from 1981. It won, yeah, 8 Oscars. It's based on a stage play written by Peter Schaffer, yeah, who also wrote the screenplay. It was directed by Milos Forman. Um, was a huge hit. Also really long. It's a double-sider, but this is a really great movie. You should check it out. Alpha Dog. So this is like a true crime movie. It has Justin Timberlake in it and Bruce Willis. This movie is very strangely paced. It's real hit and miss. Parts of it are really interesting and pretty fast paced and sort of like WTF, like I can't believe that actually happened. But then other parts of it are so ineptly directed and so it's not even that they're hard to believe, it's just that they're so poorly made that it just becomes very it's kind of suspends your disbelief or help troubles your suspension of disbelief is what I mean to say. Alpha Dog it's a cool movie. I probably wouldn't watch it like a bunch of times. You're going to find that I own a lot of movies that I don't necessarily love. Okay, American Buffalo. I love this movie. This is another one of my favorite movies. This is okay. So this is a David Mamet movie. David Mamet directed the play this is based on. He wrote the play that this is based on, and he actually directed the movie. David Mamet has a lot of dialogue in his movies. Some would say he has nothing but dialogue in them. This is a movie with Dustin Hoffman and Dennis Franz. It's a movie about two guys planning a robbery, and that is all it is the planning. You never actually see the robbery, but it's great. A lot of cursing, I will say that. You'll find that a lot in his movies. Next movie is American Beauty. This movie has not aged well. I will say that. It was a big Academy Award winner, I guess, in '99. Has, of course, Kevin Spacey, Annette Bening. This was a pretty iconic movie when it came out. I think nowadays, younger people, you'd probably be hard-pressed to find young people who even know what this movie is now. I don't know, I could be wrong about that, but directed by a guy named Sam Mendes, and forgive me, I'm not sure what happened to him. I don't know what he did after this movie. It was written by Alan Ball, who went on to, after this, he did an HBO show called 6 Feet Under, which is great. Then after that, he did True Blood, which is a vampire show, and I have to admit I've actually never seen it. But yeah, pretty dark comedy about a guy going through a midlife crisis. Should check it out. And last but not least, for this video, we have American Gangster. I was not a fan of this movie, to be honest with you. I thought it was poorly directed. I thought it was kind of confusing. I had a hard time following it, honestly. Denzel Washington, Russell Crowe, performances were great, I guess. I kind of felt like this entire movie was just Denzel Washington yelling at people. I also had kind of a hard time buying Denzel Washington as this hardcore criminal. I don't exactly know why. That's Edmund is going to be in these videos, I guess. That's my dog. Sorry. American Gangster. You should check it out if you like crime drama. There's just better ones, I thought, than this one. Once again, of course, based on a true story, but I don't know what true crime movie isn't. That would be the definition, I suppose. Okay, guys, that's going to do it for shelf one. And I'm going to be doing more of these, I hope. Um, uh, I don't know, comment and rate, subscribe, and all that business. Okay, guys.